What's up, everybody? This is Nick, and you're listening to the flagship podcast of this broadcast network that we call Pull Up a Chair. Once again, you are joining me, the host, with the most, Nick.
You are the most.
And as always, I am joined by my sidekick, who is quick.
Sidekick.
And he's quite the pick. And co-host.
Eric, the sidekick, I guess now? Okay,
Well,
thanks for the promotion.
No problem.
Appreciate
that. You are the Robin to my Batman.
Oh, thank you. Can I wear pants instead of weird green shorts?
The Ninja Turtles to my Splinter.
I'll take that one. I like that.
So, yes, no, please don't wear tight green pants. I will stop coming over here and doing this podcast. That'll effectively end our friendship. Well,
I don't have pants on.
Well, that is embarrassing. That's why I have not looked down, and I will continue not to look down, at least not that direction. All right, well, Eric, today I want to bring up something.
What do you want to bring up, my friend?
I felt that today was a great day.
A great day for what?
For another this week. What was that look for?
You're so loud.
Oh. I'll bring it down.
You're going to clip.
I'll bring it down a notch.
Thank you.
Ready?
Or just pull back from the mic.
Okay. Here we go. We'll do it just
like that.
All right.
If you're watching that video, podcast guys, pro tip here, guys, for podcasters, if you're going to be loud, scoot back from your mic. Still get the effect, but it won't be as loud.
Are you done?
Yeah, sure. Pro tip here, guys.
Thank you, sidekick. It is it is now time for another This Week in History. My friend, the year was 1988.
Oh, I was a spry young kid of 9.
I was a spry young kid of 8. And we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. But on October 25th, do you remember where you were at October 25th, 1988, Eric?
Yes, 1988, my brother's birthday party. It was a few days before. He was still crying because no one came to his birthday party.
What was this year's theme? 1983 was girls, girls, girls. Everyone wants to be girls.
No. Girls. Yeah, everyone wants to be girls. Something like that. Yeah, that's right. 88. Hold on. Let me think for just a minute. I think it was a crossover theme. He was growing and changing. He was coming into his own for once. It was a crossover of My Little Pony. Yeah, still got his little kid side going on, along with Strawberry Shortcake. He was maturing into the Strawberry Shortcake time, and that's a big step for him.
So he was the first of the Minestrones.
Minister. My Little Ponies, yeah, Strawberry Shortcakes, Minestrones. Man, I'm surprised you know that's a really subculture.
It is. Well,
Nick,
I mean,
I got some questions about how
buddy,
you know that.
I've got connections. I've been on the dark web. I know
the dark web.
I know where this leads.
Yeah, he was still crying because unfortunately I couldn't make it. I had plans. I had somewhere to be and I couldn't be there. My parents didn't.
You didn't even come to your own brother's birthday party?
My parents and I had plans that day. It's just weird coincidence on his birthday. And he was left alone at home. And so he was crying. We were used to that. So not much of a difference. Really a normal day at our house.
Okay. That's you normally, your brother's birthday party was every day? Because you said that's
his crying. Day. No. This was after his birthday party. He was still crying.
From 1983 to 1988, he was crying?
Well,
or was it a different birthday party?
Both of those, he cried a lot. There was a lot of crying in our household.
This is after the Minestrones' birthday.
Yeah, no one showed up. Not even us, his family. And so he was still crying several days later when this day came upon us that you are getting ready to speak about. Clearly, I know what you're talking about.
By the way, I want to point out
Yeah.
that minestrones is not an actual term. It is one that I just came up with.
It's a lifestyle.
People, if you are a brony and you like strawberry shortcake and you're a guy, which is what a brony is, guess what? You're now a minestrone. All right. That's where, you put strawberry shortcake, you're a dude, and you
Okay, I think we got it, Nick.
ponies.
Thanks.
That's what minestrone. I really have to break this down.
You're
for
over
you.
analyzing your own words.
No, this is one of those times that Webster's Dictionary needs to call me so that I can get coined in that dictionary.
Well, I think minestrone is already a word. I mean, you might try Urban Dictionary.
You know what? I'm not going to, because no one likes to go to Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, right.
All right. On this day, October 25th, 1988, Devil Worship Exposing Satan's Underground TV special hosted by Geraldo Rivera screens on U.S. NBC network.
All right.
This was an event that honestly caused a lot of panic, especially around the time of year that this was, around Halloween, that caused a lot of panic among people that saw Halloween as like Satan's holiday. So this was kind of a big event. The next day, I want to point out another one of these real quick. October 26th, Donald Trump billed Mike Tyson $2 million for 4 months advisory service.
Oh, what? Hold on. He billed him. So Donald Trump was the advisor?
He was the advisor
to
Mike Tyson's campaign to run for president.
Oh, I didn't remember he ran for president.
He never did. That is a joke.
Oh.
No, I don't know what he advised him on.
Well, I was like, Mike Tyson tried to run. I mean, everyone in their dog tries to run for president. It feels like at some point, like there's like, that's back in the day when people didn't really get nominated until, maybe the year the election started, not 2 years before were they campaigning. So yeah. I could believe it.
I know. It was just with who Donald Trump is now to what he was doing. I couldn't resist the joke. By the way, I want to point out one other. October 27th, Larry Flint paid Hitman $1 million to kill Hefner, Gucciano, and Sinatra.
Who's Gucciano?
Well, Hefner was, of course, Playboy.
Well, they finally got him.
Gucciano was actually I had to look this one up, the founder of Penthouse.
Oh, okay.
Sinatra, of course, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
But this was all, I don't know what the whole motive behind this.
What's the context?
I don't know.
The other two make sense because they're rivals.
I don't know. Yeah, they were. I don't know if Sinatra had his hands in that kind of stuff or not, but
all right.
I don't know. This was just, but then from an article I read, this actually all happened in November 1983. This information just came out in 1988. The plan did.
Well, that's weird. Well, that's a crappy hitman.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently he called it off right before the check went through, and then the hitman died a month later from a heart attack.
Okay.
I don't know. Very convoluted events.
Sounds like a story on like. Hey, sci-fi, we got a show for you.
Get this. There was actually a fourth person who was never identified, but some sources said it was the publisher of the TV guides. That was like the fourth person this guy was going to be hired to kill.
Wow, this is entertaining. I'm almost not wanting to talk about what we planned on and talk about this.
Well, buddy, that's all the information I know. I mean, this article that I read about this,
Have you seen cable news? That's enough information for a whole week's of shows.
Well, buddy, you could do a 2020 episode on this. You know what? True Crime Podcast, I'm calling you out. It is time to do a true crime podcast about this incident, this moment in history.
This defining moment in Penthouse history.
You know what? Do it based off this segment that we like to call This Week in History.
I'm glad this is done.
And that brings us to the end of another fascinating history moment on our podcast. Eric, it is time to move on. It is time to talk about something that we are excited about. Of course, this podcast will be coming out on a holiday that, I enjoyed as a kid.
Exactly. My brother's bris. His bris anniversary. Brissiversary.
His brissiversary? Wow.
Yes, this will be coming out on my brother's brissiversary. So
this will actually be coming out the day before Halloween.
Oh.
And we are going to talk about our nostalgic memories of Halloween. Sir, what is some things you remember about your 1980s Halloweens?
Now, you talked about Geraldo Rivera's, that competent reporter who he really was, back then, he was the man. That with the stories. He had all those really cool stories.
He was. One of my favorite stories of Geraldo Rivera was when he was going to, show Al Capone's secret
the safe.
vault.
That's what I was going to say. The empty safe.
And he opened it up and there was like
nothing in it.
One of my favorite moments of Geraldo Rivera.
I think they promoted that for like a month.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, it was big time news.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, it was, they blocked off a whole segment. It was
a whole show.
Time. Yeah, it was a whole show. It was huge. And then he looked like a fool.
He's still rocking his business today, isn't he? Isn't he on cable news? He was on cable news on like one of those.
Oh yeah, I think he's on cable news.
Fox or one of those.
The dude he has done some doozies in his day.
Yeah.
Because remember, he also reported like back when we were going after ISIS, there was like this time he reported all of the movements of the troops, and it caused some problems.
Wow, how did he get him? Oh,
well,
man.
remember, he was actually over there, and he was with this unit.
Oh, and he reported where he was.
Yeah, he reported where he was, and he was like, from what I heard, we're gonna be, and it messed up their whole operation.
Good job, Geraldo, exposing everything.
Well,
Man, that's his job. Well, he exposed that Satanists were ruling that was their holiday.
Well, he sufficiently showed that Halloween was Satan's birthday.
His birthday. Halloween, Satan's birthday. Christmas is Jesus's birthday. Who's older? I don't know, but I'm glad there's equal opportunity birthdays here. So, so what did this report do to your life? How did this affect you, Nick?
Well, being a young and easily influenced child who went to church and, of course, feared Satan.
And of course, feared Satan.
I knew that this was bad news. No, this was something when you would go to church, I remember it started this hysteria of, it seemed to be parents thinking that Halloween was satanic.
Yeah, we've always talked I remember forever it's been that, like the origins of Halloween and all that stuff. And
this just kind of, that idea has been there for a long time, but this just kind of pushed it more to the forefront.
Yeah, I think it solidified that concept in a lot of parents' eyes. 80s was a different time. It really was. I listened to different speakers on various topics, and we've discussed, and I've heard people discuss how different the 80s and 90s were from today. How like this past 30 years, and of course times change, and just how it has changed. Man, it's so different now. Like how my kids grow up, it's so much different than how I grew up. I was without the internet, without all that stuff. It felt like you heard something at school and you didn't really believe it, but no one else to hear it from. Nowadays, my kids hear something, they're like, "Hey, Google, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, I had to stop Google. I'm like, you can't just Google stuff, bud. You just can't.
Oh,
Google.
but you really can. You can Google anything.
Exactly.
I mean, Google has all the information, my friend.
All
And not
of it.
only that, they will take you to websites where people take what you ask, and man, they ramp it up.
Yeah.
Last week, you and I just did for fun, actually, it came out this last Tuesday, did just a conspiracy theory cast. I mean, it was one of our micro mini lightning newscasts, but we did it like a conspiracy thing. And even that was just done in fun, and it ramped up quickly. Google takes everything and ramps it up quickly if you find the right websites, which you can with Google.
Pretty easily.
And that was an advertisement for Google. Google, send us your money. Cha-ching.
Send us your money. Yeah. Well, it's all overseas, so it's going to take a while to get here. They're not repatriating their money very fast.
Wow.
So yeah, but this really affected mine. Yeah, I grew up in church as well. I think it changed the church's like Halloween festival to the fall festival. They changed the name of it.
Well, yeah, but we also had, at the church I went to, we also had like services the day before praying for people.
I remember
that
those.
were out there, and they would show these, they would listen to these videos of like
Yes.
Satanists who had come to know Christ, like testifying to like the demonic origins of Halloween.
Yep. I remember that. I remember those. I remember that kind of stuff being around a lot. I mean, my parents weren't super into church. And I think it was free daycare. That's what it was mostly. But I remember that it was, and that's the time when, was that the time when it was all razor blades and apples too?
Yes. I mean,
more fruit. Like you used to get a lot, like I would come home with, you'd be so PO'd, just pissed off that you had like 5 apples. How 5 houses had given you fruit or apples.
Well, but every school had that story, or at least every parent had that story of where, well, little Johnny, you're in your class, his mom found a razor blade and some taffy last year.
Or needles.
Or needles, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I always
like that one.
I always like remember looking at the candy and thinking needles, like when I went to the doctor, needles were like, to me, were syringes.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, there's a syringe in here. Like I'm looking at the little square taffies and like, I could eat this one, right? And like my dad's like, no. And he like take
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it would be
my parents were like, yeah, go ahead. What? I didn't really trick or treat much. I lived out in the country, and my parents were going to drive me in anywhere to go trick or treating.
Well, so I've got this list of things that, not that I don't have my own memories, but this just kind of jogged my memory.
Okay.
But
he doesn't have his memories. He was in institution most of the time.
I only have a 10-second memory. Who are you again? No, but it's top 10 things like 80's kids would only remember.
Okay,
And
I was an 80's kid. What should I be remembering?
The number 4 was the candy sort was an Olympic event. Do you remember when you would get home and, well, you said you didn't trick or treat a lot, but you would get home and your parents would make you dump everything. Like we had to dump everything on our kitchen table.
Uh-huh.
And my dad would be like, okay, I'll sort through all this and I'll get back to you. And like we would have to wait till the next morning, but when we could take a few pieces. Like mom would let us take some sweet tarts or something like that, but dad would be like, well, we'll sort through this and get back to you.
I'm sure she was severely punished for that.
Well, I'm sure.
Infraction.
But it was funny because some of the candy wouldn't be there the next morning. However, we had our piles that were like...
Would he even them up too?
Yeah, I mean, he would even them up and, we'd all... If I looked over and I was like, oh, he has one of my... Dad would be like, hey, let me just take one of your candies and give it to him. Like, if you complained about your stack, you lost a piece of candy.
Oh, I do that a lot with my kids too.
Do you?
Well, we do something different. We're going to talk about candy sort. I didn't really have a lot of that growing up. Mine now is my kids get so much candy. It is unreal the amount of candy my kids have after Halloween's not just a day anymore. It's several events such as school events, church events, just the day of going trick-or-treating. there'll be just a Walmart sack filled with candy of all shapes and sizes. And that's cool. That's great and all. My kids don't need all that candy. We do a thing called the Switch Witch. So the Switch Witch, her job is...
Wait a second. Switch Witch?
Switch Witch.
I know of the Switch Witch.
Oh, did you?
It's 2 pieces of bread with switchblades in between.
Yeah, that's it.
It is...
It's delicious.
It is horrible.
Oh, no. So...
all I tasted was blood.
So the kids can eat all the candy they want the night of, and they get a little bit. They keep a little couple, just like a handful each, and the rest of it, which is like a Walmart sack full of candy, goes onto the front porch. Onto the front porch it goes, and sometime earlier that week or earlier, we had went to the store and bought cheap toys, just like cheapest toys we could find. And we'll set them on the doorstep and go put the bag of candy in the car. I usually take it to work and give it to my coworkers. My goal in work is to give everyone at work diabetes. I'm trying hard. And so I'd take all that candy up there and let them have it.
I got you.
And the kids get some toys. They think it's cool.
God bless you for doing that.
I don't have 20 pounds of candy sitting in my house that I don't need to be going through.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you went out for Halloween, what did you go get all your candy in?
Well, my kids have nice fancy buckets because I'm a schmuck. I'll usually.
Did you have the little plastic jack-o'-lanterns?
I did the plastic jack-o'-lanterns. The orange plastic bags that you get like at school when you got nicer things at school. You get this. You get a bag from them sometimes. What else? A pillowcase. I did a pillowcase.
I was going to say, I started with, as a kid, Mom had bought us, we had the jack-o'-lanterns, but I also had a little Casper one. And it was good. It was good, but eventually I needed to get more candy. Because by about halfway through the night, you would have that thing full.
Oh, yeah.
And so what did you do? Later on, you graduated to the pillowcase. Me too. I too. Not really sure which word I'm supposed to use with that. Tutu. I graduated to the pillowcase as well.
Well, what we do nowadays is we trick-or-treating, buckets get full. We just take them to the car, or when we're walking, someone has a car, and we keep a bag there, and we just fill a bag up. And
how many events do your kids go to these days? There's a ton of events.
There's a ton. My kids will 100% go to the day of trick-or-treating, which is the 31st.
Yeah.
This Friday is the school event. But don't get me started on that thing. Don't get me started. The school event's like, we need every kid. I have 3 kids going to school. Each kid should have 2 bags of candy bought from Walmart and brought in. The cheapest bag of candy is like $5. So 2 bags, $10. I have to buy $30 of candy for my kids. Like, they asked for $30 in candy for my kid to go get candy. And that's the place we get the least amount of candy.
You need to buy nothing but the grandma candies, like those little yellow, those taffy candies that they used to have that were just terrible.
I forget the name of those.
Those things are cheap, and that's what you need to get for your kids to take to them. Because you know what they'll do? They'll be like, every kid needs to bring 2 bags, except for you, Mister. You and your kids can.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring anything.
I bring my candy. You need to take your candy home. And I'm like, no. You give this candy to these little. You get it out of me. Don't give
Whoa, sir. That kind of language will not be tolerated on this podcast. We don't say kids.
Children. Yeah. Oh man, it's a chore anymore. It is a chore though. I just don't enjoy it. It's more work than anything. Plus you have to work at the events. Oh man.
See, we only got like one shot. We had Halloween night, and that is it.
Yeah.
It wasn't this big lead up where you have 15 different events, 15 different trunk or treats at different churches.
Trunk or treats. And then the city does like a downtown event
right
on top of the the holiday event,
Like if you
Halloween
messed
event.
up, if you did not get it right the day of Halloween, you were done. That was it.
If you were sick that day,
Yeah.
nope, just too bad.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry you missed Halloween for. It's not like, oh, I'm sorry you have a trunk or treat tonight and tomorrow night. Oh, and the whole week leading up. No, we're talking 1980s Halloween. It was Halloween, and you got one day to do it. You had your little party during the day. Or the day before, depending on where Halloween fell. You had your little school party that was like a little 30-minute walk around and hand everybody a piece of candy that you brought, and that was it.
Mine now is, hey, we need money for pizza. I'm like, what? Like, hey, we need $3 a kid for pizza. Every kid's got to give $3. I'm like, $9? I can buy two like CC not CC, that little pizza guy, Little Caesars pizzas. I can buy almost 2 pizzas for $9.
Right.
And I'm like, I got to spend $9 for my kids to get like 2 pieces of pizza, or I can buy 2 full pizzas for $9 almost.
Yep.
I'm just sitting there going, holy crap. Like, I understand. When I was a kid, I went to school. My parents never paid a dime for anything. And I got everything. You know, like, oh, hey, it's popsicle day on Friday. Here's a popsicle.
Yep.
My kids, hey, it's popsicle day on Friday. Have your kids bring some money if they want a popsicle. If your kid doesn't have any money, you don't get a popsicle.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was really, I don't know. I mean, Halloween, there wasn't, I mean, if you didn't get popsicles on Halloween.
Oh, this is just, my kids every Friday, it's like, you can get 2 popsicles or an ice cream sandwich for $1.
Oh.
Every Friday. I'm like, what?
We didn't get that.
No. And, well, like once or like maybe twice a year, once each term, a semester, whatever they call them now, you would get one day where it's like, here's a popsicle. One would be around the end of school and one would be around Christmas time, or not Christmas, maybe Christmas or fall break or something. You'd be handed a popsicle. One of the cheap, the popsicles, like each color was a different character. You remember those?
Yeah.
Those are really cool, but we're not on that.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember during, and this isn't on the list, but I was just thinking about this earlier. Do you remember the Halloween specials that would come on?
Oh, yes. That you waited for them. What was that guy that did them all? That bald guy? What was his name?
Oh, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like there was a Garfield Halloween special.
Oh, no, but yeah, he was the host for like the segments of those.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember his name. He died.
Well, I mean, of course you had the ever so popular, you know, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which is a great cartoon, by the way.
I'm not a huge Charlie Brown fan, to be honest with you.
Oh man, I'm a huge Charlie Brown fan. But you had those guys that you had that special. Plus they had another little Halloween special that was you know out there. Another Peanuts Halloween special that was out there, but you also had like do you remember one where I remember this? There was a Garfield Halloween special where he met some pirates. Do you remember this?
There was also Scooby-Doo Halloween special.
Right. You also had, you had things like, every year you would have the Sleepy Hollow.
That's what I was thinking.
Disney.
Sleepy Hollow. I was thinking of that one.
I mean, there were a slew of Halloween specials that were just out there that everyone would know was coming. You also had like a He-Man Halloween special.
Yeah.
I mean, there was all sorts of
Vince Price. He had his Halloween special.
Well, yeah, there were those. I mean, it was an interesting time. Now you have like the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah. That
you can count on every year, but I mean, it was nothing like this time of year. You're going to have this Halloween special come on. Oh, we also, the Flintstones one.
The Flintstones, the Bedrock.
I forgot about the Rockula and I don't remember what
Frankenstone.
The Frankenstone.
Yeah. Oh, I can't find the guy. I'm trying to think. Oh man, I'm trying to find the guy that hosted a lot of these Halloween specials. And they'd show all the old Halloween cartoons like Donald Duck Halloween stuff.
Well,
Mickey
yeah,
Mouse
they
Halloween
had those.
stuff.
They'd
show that stuff on Saturdays.
Well, I mean, you'd always have like ABC would always show like a run through of the Haunted Mansion at some point, where the actual ride.
Oh yeah,
it was like somebody was filming inside the ride, and you'd see all the different things.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. You've pulled up just a slew of pictures here. You got Sleepy Hollow. You've got the Mickey Mouse with the gun hunting ghosts.
This one. These guys. I don't know their names. Jonathan Winters.
Jonathan Winters.
He had that pumpkin, the big pumpkin inside the glass.
Yes.
Yeah, that one right. And that's the one I remember. And he'd be like, I guess he was a guard. I don't know. And he would go talk to this pumpkin head, which I think was also him. And And the pumpkin would try to replace him. He'd get out. Oh, yeah. That was 1977. Oh, man. That was on for multiple years.
Well, they just kept showing it. I mean, there was a ton of these specials that would just come on. You know, Fat Albert had some.
Oh yeah.
I remember this now. Of course, Halloween Towns. But you also had Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I remember they would always show Quackbusters.
Quackbusters, yeah.
With Daffy Duck. I mean, there was just yearly you would have like a different.
Like you would have a lot of repeats, but you'd have at least a couple new ones every year. Right. There was like a few new shows that had. And of course, you'd have the random made-for-TV show.
Yes.
That was like Halloween based. Is like a kid moves to a new house and in the attic there's something. It's always that kind of premise.
Yes. Which always reminded me and still reminds me of Erie, Indiana.
Erie Indiana was really good.
We're going to talk about Erie, Indiana one day, but now let's get to something that I think that everyone will want to hear about. Sir, what did you dress as?
Well, I was He-Man. One year, I was a Centurion from that wonderful cartoon, The Centurions. I think I was the Blue Centurion, though he wasn't my favorite. What else did I was G.I. Joe one year.
I think everybody was G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe was like, of course, there was like multiple G.I. Joes. There was like the cheap G.I. Joe outfit.
Yes.
And it like was like knockoff G.I. Joe.
There was like the do-it-yourself G.I. Joe outfit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you wanted the costumes that had the masks. That's what you wanted. You're like, I don't want to paint my face. I want the mask. Apparently, I was wanted to be cruel to myself. Masks from the 80's were the razor blades.
Yeah, they were the hard plastic. And for some reason, the eye sockets like
curved in.
They curved in and they just poked into your eyes.
Yeah, that and the mouth was like a little bitty slit.
Right.
And you're supposed to it's like it would get hot.
And there was like those two little nostril holes where it was like no one's nose ever lined up with those nostril holes. I don't know who they
breathed down onto them, but no air moved out of there.
I remember as a kid, I had bad eyesight, still don't have great eyesight, but I had glasses and I tried putting that mask. I had a He-Man mask. I was He-Man one year.
Okay.
And I put the He-Man mask over my face, and breathing into that mask, I fogged up my glasses multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Like I had to like remove the mask and like take my glasses off, and my dad would clean them. And then I put it back on and like,
yep.
Like, and those things were freaking hot.
They were miserable. Like you did not, after the little I went to in trick-or-treating, I wore it for like 5 minutes and then it went onto my neck and would make my neck hot because I didn't want to put it on my head.
Yeah. And
then it would go like, I'm going to carry it because it won't fit in my pumpkin bucket.
Yeah.
When I would have had a pumpkin bucket. Oh, it was just a nightmare. And the elastic, it grabbed every hair it touched. Like,
oh yeah,
like you take it off and it would grab every bit of hair it could
Mm-hmm.
and just pull. And the staples on the side sometimes weren't bent down enough. They jab you in the side of the head or like
But you know what?
your temple.
But you know what? You looked cool.
You looked
And so you
cool.
were determined to wear that thing as it jabbed into your eyeballs, made your temple bleed, barely could breathe out of them.
Yeah.
But do you also remember the He-Man outfit? Did you have the one with the puffy muscles that was basically like a little bodysuit?
Did I have that one? No, I think we had those muscles. My He-Man outfit was a hand-me-down from my brother. It was a time when he thought he could be a man. So yeah, I think they got tore up by the time I got it. And also it was just like, some of the outfits were super cheap. It was like this plastic tarp.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like a suit. And you put on like this, like, it was like a plastic tarp with a hole in it, which had like a picture on it.
Yes.
And then you would tie on the sides like an apron
Yes.
or around the back. Or it'd sometimes just be a front.
Right.
And that's all it would be. And they would tear and get caught on everything.
I got one year that actually had the little fluffy muscles for
Well,
He-Man.
Richie Rich, what's going on?
I don't know, man. Somehow I got this. You know what? I sweated in that thing like nobody's business. That was the hottest outfit. I mean, it was nasty by the time I was done with it.
Well, we live in Oklahoma, and it's either one of the two during Halloween. So cold that you have to wear like a coat under your clothes, or it's exceptionally hot. And like 80, no, actually, it's just like 80, 85 degrees, but you're dressed up and it's hot.
Right.
Oh man, it's one of the two. It's never like this nice fall weather. Maybe this year.
I was Rambo one year.
Oh, I was Rambo.
I got myself a red
Bandana?
Well, no,
Well.
it was like a ripped off sleeve. it was a red sleeve, and I wrapped it around my head, and I don't remember what all I wore, but yeah, I had like I was really big into Rambo, so I had like the cartoon toy, the big gun.
You could almost take those to school back in my
Yeah.
kid. They were like no knives.
Right.
No, nothing that looks like a knife or a blade. But I think you could have a plastic gun.
I was allowed to take you could take the plastic gun. I was allowed to take my little fake Rambo
were
knife.
you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just had to show, my mom had to come up
yeah.
with me and show the teacher like,
that it was
yeah,
fake. Yeah, you
it
got
was
to
fake.
show it. That's all right.
But here's the thing. Even though it was fake, man, that thing could hurt.
Yeah, the points weren't like dulled as
No.
much as they should have been.
No, well, they weren't dull, but it was also just this thick piece of rubber so I could smack somebody with it, and it would leave a whelp.
Oh, that's awesome. Aren't you a good friend?
No, I wasn't. But I mean, those were my Halloween outfits. What is your favorite? Let me ask you this. Final thought here. What is your favorite Halloween memory?
Favorite Halloween memory?
For real, not a made-up story.
I got
favorite
it.
Halloween.
I got it. When we were younger, my brother and I, even though we lived in the country, we've never really dressed our house up or decorated it. Like I have a couple of decorations. We put them out the other day. The kids had a great time putting decorations out. We would decorate the inside of the house, and we had a box of decorations just for Halloween. And I loved it. I loved decorating inside. We had like one of those paper skeletons, which had those little brass, I don't know what it's called. It's like brass colored.
Just a little Brad.
And you kind of
Yeah.
like the 2 inch,
Yeah.
that thing. And that's what the joints were made out of. And we'd hang that up and put a couple things up. And I loved it. I ask every year, are we decorate this year? And after like 8, I don't think we ever did it again. But I remember that to this day. It's like, oh, we would hang this here, and this would go over here, and we'd hang that orange tinsel stuff that you could get, that cheap stuff. And that's what I love the most. And in fact, we've decorated the outside of my house, and my box of inside decorations, the kids are like, when are we decorating the inside? When are we doing that? I'm like, Thursday. I'm doing it so you quit talking about it. I'll let you decorate it all you want. So they kind of take after me. It's like, just having the decorations up is just so much fun.
Oh, it is.
What about you?
My favorite memory, well, I should say my funniest memory.
Okay.
When I was when I was younger, I played soccer. So I was.
We've never played soccer together, Nick.
We never have.
No, we both played soccer.
I really enjoyed soccer. I was really good at, so basically because of soccer, I got really good at kicking. Well, when I don't know how old I was, but we went over to my dad's friend's house to trick or treat.
Okay.
We always went over there because we're real close with their family. And we, of course, whenever you did trick or treat, whenever you dressed up, you'd have to go, over to people's houses and take pictures. And this is one of the, but he dressed up like a vampire.
Oh, classic vampire?
Classic vampire.
White face with a little bit of blood on your lip.
And the fangs.
Yeah.
Well, we were walking up to his front door, and I may have been 6, 7 at this point. But he jumps out of the bushes. 6 or 7-year-old Nick's first reaction?
Balls. I
just rear backed and kicked this guy.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, I was defending my family.
Your dad was like cowering in the car.
Right. I mean, I was leading the way. I was like, I'm the brave kid. I don't remember that may have been the year I was dressed as Rambo. But I kicked him. I even had a cool 1980s like catchphrase after I did it.
Oh, what'd you say?
I was like, knocked him down like a baby. as my dad's friend clutched his crotch and fell over.
That's great. That's great.
I reared back and just gave him everything I had.
Oh man. Well, I was wrestling with my son the other night, and I had him in a chokehold, and he hit me, and it took me down to the ground, and he was like, "Sorry, Dad. Sorry, I'm so sorry." About an hour later, or sometime later, he was talking to me, and I was just messing with him. He's like, "Do you want me to do it again?" Threatening me. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, oh, you're gonna? No, here's the thing. After I did that, I remember anytime I would see my dad's friend, I would almost try to do it, and my dad ended up having to talk to me about. I was basically from that point on. If you've ever seen King of the Hill. I was basically Bobby in the episode where he's kicking everybody until his mom goes up against him. I was basically that until my dad sat me down and was like, "You cannot be doing this."
No, 100%. I've had to have that discussion with my oldest son. I've had that exact you can't just do that to somebody.
Right.
No matter, it doesn't matter if they're messing with you. You can't just go for the. I was gonna say jugular, but you can't just go ball kicking or aiming for balls for every move you do.
Well, I will say whenever some little kid that knows what he's doing gets a direct hit, it feels like they're up in your jugular.
Oh man, I got a kid once. He pushed me. He was like, I was young, I was older, but he was like way bigger than me. And he was kind of just being that, well, like I'm a smaller guy, and I get this a lot when I'm around someone who's like 6 foot and they're younger than me. They get this attitude like, I'm bigger than you, I'm just going to push you around. And when I was younger, and this was in high school, and he came up to me and it was kind of just bullying, not really bullying, just kind of goofing, and I was getting annoying. And he pushed me, and so I fell backwards, kind of like I kind of fell into his push, and I just one foot went up, just enough. Hit him just hard enough. I played soccer. Not hard like we'd take him down, but it's just enough to nudge both of them. Uh-huh. By the time my foot got back on the ground, I stood back up. He was gray.
Oh, yeah.
He like his face, and I didn't kick him hard. I did it on purpose. I was like, nudge, just enough. And he turned gray. It was like, he turned all like real pale and gray and had to go sit down. And he just sat there and I go, don't push me again. And he never did.
Very nice. Very nice.
I was just
a story of triumph.
I know.
from a true hero.
I was probably 17 and he was probably 15, 14. But like a 6'2", 14-year-old.
I got you. Yeah. I got you. Well, we hope that you have a happy and safe Halloween.
Go eat all the razor blades and needles you can.
That's right, because that's the only way you gain true strength.
I like it. I'm feeding my kids some razor blades and
Well,
needles.
you know what?
You convinced me.
Well, chop up some glass and give it to him too. Eric, where can they find us?
Well, you can find us on the spooky web.
The spooky web.
The spooky web, you can find us. We are on Facebook. We are at Pull Up a Chair Podcast. Just search for that. On YouTube, just Pull Up a Chair Podcast. Just search for that. Or on the iTunes or any Android app podcasting tool, look at Pull Up a Chair Podcast. And you can find us at our own spooky place at puckpodcast.website, pucpodcast.website. Why website? Because it's spooky.
And you know what, all you ghouls and ghosts? If you've enjoyed this podcast, please do a spooky like, a spooky subscribe, or even leave an even scarier comment.
You could say this was a spookcast.
I would call this a spooktacular cast.
I like it. I think that's the name.
I think so.
Spooktacular Podcast.
I think so. Well, everybody, we really do hope you have a safe and happy Halloween. To all the people that have to take kids around, we know that you probably have visited already 17 different places to do Halloween stuff. So we hope that you enjoy and maybe just take this along with you, this little podcast, and listen to it. Hey, and you know what? Drop it in somebody's bucket. Give them the candy that tastes great in the ears.
Oh, I like that.
Have yourself a happy Halloween.
Bye. I wonder how many serial killers gave me candy.
No idea.